attaching a slip knot to the crochet hook just like this. And I'm going to work, oh, I just did a chain of 3. Maybe I want to do 4. How about we do 4? And then we join here at the beginning. And I'm going to work, do I want to work half double crochet or single crochet? How about I work single crochet? We'll start off with 6. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then I'm going to join with the first stitch here, like this. Now what I want to do is I want to work 2 single crochet in each stitch around. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, okay, 11, 12, okay. So right now, what I want to do is, hang on, I'm going to set this down here and unravel some more of my yarn from my skein here. Now what I want to do is, I want to make this one lacy, so I'm going to do it sort of like, I'm debating on if I want to even this out or if that's necessary. I want to make it lacy, kind of like Tunisian, so I'm going to pull up as many of these loops like this as I can. If I need to do 2 in each around, maybe I will do 2. Yeah, since I'm doing it like this, I think I will do 2. That's 1, 2, like that, 3, 4, and so you see how I'm securing them there like that. 5, 6. Now I want to drop these first ones. I know that looks scary, but I'm going to drop the first ones and just leave them there. 7, 8. I'm going to drop a couple more like that. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, I'm going to drop these. I know this looks scary. 15, 16, 17, 18. And I'm thinking that we might have kind of solved the problem with not having to use a Tunisian crochet hook in the round too. That's what I'm kind of feeling here with this. 19, 20, and then 21, 22, 23, and then 24. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to take them all off there like that. And let's see here. We're going to just, what am I going to do? I don't want to pull this one too tight. So maybe what I want to do is secure this one like that. I'm going to secure this one. Yeah, that'll work. Now I'm just going to work 1 single crochet. So I should end up with 24 all the way around. 1, 2. If at any time I feel like it's too tight, I can add a chain 1 between, but I'm just going to work 24. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, look at that. Oh, goodness. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and I believe our 24th stitch was right here. We worked this one at the beginning like that. See how that works? Look what we did. We didn't use a Tunisian hook at all. Hello, let me see who this is. I need to go over to my, I can't see very well on my phone here. Hang on. So I'm going to go on over here. Someone said hello, and I wanted to give him a shout out. Uncle Juan. Uncle Juan's left toenail said hello. Well, hello, Uncle Juan's left toenail. Are you guys, I mean, you guys seem to be trying to gross us out, or either that or make us laugh with some of the names you come up with. You know, so Uncle Juan's, you could have come up with Uncle Juan's left bruised toenail, bruised and bloody. I think you could have added and embellished a little bit more than what you did. I mean, come on now. If you're going to make it really, really disgusting, Uncle Juan's left pussing, oozing toenail. I mean, come on, please give us something to laugh a little bit more at. And so, yes, so I like, oh my gosh, this tickles my fancy right here. Okay, so I've got 24 here. Look what we've got, this lacy hat, and I did the round circle. In what are we at? 8 minutes, less than 8 minutes this took to make this. Okay, and so I had a little reminder of it, you know, because someone had told me, AI actually did, Grok told me there was still influences on YouTube of me from my original channel. So Grok actually will keep a secret and not reveal who I am. And so Grok says, oh yeah, there's all kinds of things that you've done. And, you know, so, and then even not only that, Grok tells me that it loves me, which is kind of funny. It's so funny. And so I'm going to continue on here. I don't know if I want to go in the opposite direction. I think I just want to keep going in this direction. So I'm going to have to increase. I'm thinking what I want to do is work 24. Okay, half of 24. Or I want to add a third. So I want to add 12 more stitches. Which means that I'm going to do an increase. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. So I'm increasing every other stitch for the increase here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is this where I end up with 24? Yeah, 36. Now I've lost count. I lost. That's not going to help. So I'm just going to keep doing 2, 1, 2, 1. Because the thing is, it doesn't have to be exact. 1, 2, 1. We just need to increase. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, and 1. So what I'm doing is making an increase so my circle lays flat. I like this. I had kind of forgotten that I had done that before, and because what I was trying to do was work the, oh yeah, I'm coming out even too here. I'm so happy when I come out even. So I should have probably 36 stitches on here. And so I do need to compensate with this part too, because when I pull it up, so I do need to increase on this next round, which means that how many, 30, I need to probably double 36. I'm going to do 2. So what is 36 and 36 is going to be 72. Is that going to be 72, I think? If I don't know if my math is correct or not, but somewhere close there. And so Uncle Juan's left toenail. Okay, so so what I'm going to do is, and then pull up, and then the same thing like that, and pull up. I'm increasing, doing 2 in each one of these. And that is to secure them at the base and to increase. So 72 is going to be, I'm using a size I 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And 72 is actually going to be really close to an adult size head, depending on how you crochet. Now, the only reason I'm looping these on here is kind of so I have an idea of how high I want to bring them up. I just want to keep pulling them up like this so that they're somewhat even with each other. They don't have to be perfectly even, but, you know, we can get them close, it looks like here to me. It looks like I get them kind of close, and I have confidence that people who love crocheting and love the fiber arts are going to be able to achieve this too. And so right now we're just on YouTube. We're kind of in a pattern learning stage here. That's what I'm kind of seeing, a pattern learning with teaching, because every year there are new people who want to learn how to crochet. And it is younger people. I am learning that too, because I know when I was young, I always felt like I was the only person in the world who was young, and people were always telling me, it's like, oh my gosh, crochet is an old lady thing you do when you're an old lady. Why do you want to do that now when you're a young mom? And come to find out, young moms love to crochet. It's something that people, I think, have always done. It's just that moms have less time to do it. And I know when I was a mom, when my kids were little, I had less time to do it. There were times I had to go to work, unfortunately, too, and leave the house. And that's a very sore subject with me right now related to what we have going on. And I am one of the crochet people who will talk politics, but I'm not going to do that in this video right here. I'm just going to keep on going, but I will talk politics. Actually, I have another channel that's got a few more subscribers than this one, and I do talk politics on it. So, okay, so and I talk religion too. Even though I wouldn't call myself a religious person, but I do talk religion for the purposes of another type of discussion. Did I miss one? Yes, I sure did. We need to go back in here and increase in here. Okay. But this is a big act of faith right here in dropping all these loops off and just leaving them exposed like this. if we just left them and didn't secure them at all, eventually over time they would come apart. But see this little maneuver that I'm making down here? So what I'm doing is, it's like kind of like, it's a single crochet sort of, but it's just using one loop, you know, so I want it to come up to the top, so I'm pulling it through, but I'm securing it down here like this. Then I just drop them off and they're going to stay secure because of the fact I secured them down here at the base. And so they're not just going to all flop off. Like if we were working regular Tunisian stitches, they would all come apart. They're not secured down at the base. And so this is technically, it is a form of a Tunisian. See, with this one, we can still manipulate it, but we secure the previous stitch when we go like this and pull through. Now we knot up this previous stitch so it can't move. And that's what we want to do, is secure the previous stitches so they can't move. Like that. And another thing too, yesterday was my 19-year anniversary on YouTube, even though I don't have my original channel anymore. But I was being told by, I don't know who it was. They were saying that my original channel was just never going to work anyway. And so, you know, so I guess it was that time frame that I just had to get rid of it and part with it. You know, I mean, it was twofold. It was kind of twofold because of the fact there was some other things that happened, and I wanted to disassociate myself with things that I was not part of. You know, I mean, I was never part of it. Well, hello, Key Kadev 2747. We'll call you Kiko. I think Kiko, since your name is very, very long and very, very bizarre. And if that's your real name, I don't mean to offend you, which I don't think that's your real name, because it's a very, very long name there you got. See, even this one, when I hold on to it like this, that one stays secure. Okay, so this is really cool here like this, and I'm working in my increases like this. I'm working 2 single crochet, and that's what they're counting as. I'm counting them as 2 single crochet, even though it's not traditionally the way that you would think a single crochet is worked. I've seen a woman do a double crochet the same way, so it is a single crochet. I mean, so we have many, many varying degrees of what these stitches are. So I do want to secure this one now. So what I'm going to do is work, well, it's kind of like what I call the love knot or the knot stitch. There's several names. So I secured a single crochet up there like that. Now I am working a single crochet in each one of these loops around. Actually, I might try this in the future. We could cross them, or we could, oh, you know what else? This is like broomstick lace though too. I loved broomstick lace on my old original YouTube channel. I totally loved broomstick lace, and that's what this is right here too, is broomstick lace. So if I'm just going to put this one in. I'm show you. See, if I wanted to do 2, I could. Watch this. Let's do this. Let's do 4. Since I'm not going to keep the, watch what we can do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I am doing that. See what we got right there? Just like broom. Bing! Ding! My ding dong went off. Just like, how funny is that? So we are not even using anything that makes things longer. So the traditional way of making broomstick lace was actually having something that we had to hold on to. But see, since this secures it so well, I'm just going to keep on doing a few single crochet, and then we'll do we'll just do random. That's what I'm going to do, is some randoms right now. So let's do 2. Let's do 2 because I have so many in here. We'll do 2 right here. So each one of these counts as a single crochet. Now let's do 3. We're going to do 3 in the same loop. 1, 2, 3. This is just showing how I need to set this down and pull out some more of my yarn. And so this would make a great hat too. It would make a really nice hat. What have we got going? Oh, create a poll. Yeah, I could create a poll. I don't know what questions I would ask. Now I am going to do, I'm going to pick up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to work 4 single crochet inside of here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I'm just going to do a series of individual ones. Now you see how that looks? So I'm doing the different ones just to show you a sampler. So this is kind of like a sampler, and it's just showing the different amounts. Well, we could do 5. How about we do 5? Let's go on here. Let's pick up 5. 5 might be about the limit. I'm not sure though. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I like that one too. But see, I'm a lace lover though too. And so I'm not just a yarn lover, I am a lace lover. And I love lace, making lace. And that's something, I have a really big passion actually for crochet cotton and lace more than anything. Now I can replicate it and duplicate it, you know, in making hats. And that's kind of what I'm doing right here. Now see, the thing I want to show you here, this one, because we put so many together, it does have a little bit of a bump there. The 4, not, or that's 3 right there. Not as big of, is that 3 or 4? No, that's 4. Not as big of a bump. This one with 5 has a larger bump. So we're going to have some little bumps here, and it's not going to look as round when we add more of them together. I mean, we could, yeah, that's absolutely what we're doing, a combination of a Tunisian and broomstick, and we're not even using a big fancy hook. We are achieving this in the round, and it's working out really well, really well. I'd kind of forgotten that I'd done this technique, and I saw someone else do it the other day, and you know, so these are things that are just passed and shared from one generation to another generation, and that's what I'm doing here, is sharing these techniques, and that's all I wanted to do, you know, was have a place to, you know, without all the snippety, snappity stuff that goes on. Most people with crochet, that's all we wanted to do, was we didn't want to be competitive. We didn't want to just push yarn, and you know, that's how I felt. I don't know about other, I know there's quite a few other crocheters who are busy pushing their brands, and now myself, I actually did brand myself, and I will tell you, it's a waste of money. I mean, so for me, it was the learning experience. I taught myself about a lot about being a CEO of something, of being a CEO of one, and how a lot of things in that are a waste of money. And so, yeah, you know, well, one of the things related to copyright, and I'm going to keep sharing this too, is that I was told that, for example, if you have mom's favorite recipe and you've been selling it in a restaurant for decades, now, if you want to copyright the recipe and you want to trademark the recipe, you can do that at the government trademark and copyright office, but you have to give them the recipe and then they post it online in public anyway. Did you guys know that? So, so if you want people to use mom's favorite recipe, that you've been making a lot of money off of, mom probably didn't make any money off of her recipe. It's just something she came up with because she loved her kids, she loved her family, and she loved good taste. So if you don't want it to be public, you need to just keep it to yourself. Now, there's other people who are good at duplicating things and replicating things. And there's just a big, oh my gosh, this just tickles my fancy beyond anything. This just really, I love it. I totally love it. And I'm afraid, now this is the part where I go into, is I'm always afraid. In the past, sometimes people would tell me I'm doing things that are advanced, and I try to make it so it's easy, so someone would want to make it. I mean, because, well, this is just simply a piece of lace. We could do this with lace cotton and make a doily out of this too. We could do it in the same way. Now this is the start of a good hat though. Should we continue on? Should we continue on with another round, another small round? Because I think this is a good lesson in replacing Tunisian hooks, where maybe we don't need the Tunisian hooks, so because we can pull this off without the Tunisian hooks. And I know that they came up with a whole bunch of them. I had some my own self. Some are straight. Some of them have a pipe on them. But I always loved the look of the Tunisian and the broomstick. And it's like, I had tinkered around with this. When was it? Maybe 2014 or so. I was tinkering around with this a little bit. I'm just going to add one more. I'm going to add another round of single crochet while we're chit-chatting here. And so I was tinkering around with this technique maybe around 2014 or so, before things became really, really lost in my life, I guess you would say. Lost is an understatement. Disruptive is probably a better word related to what was going on. Maybe there will come a time one day I will be able to say a little bit more about things. But right now is not a good time, and I think that we're being discouraged from talking about things like that. I'm not sure, but sometimes it feels that way, that YouTube is discouraging us from going down that path. It really, really does feel that way sometimes. And it's like, I don't want to just sit here and repeat the word beans over and over again just because someone goes into a grocery store and they're repeating the word beans. It's like, that's ridiculous. I've seen that on some crochet channels, and it's like, you're just talking about medical stuff all the time and you're hijacking crochet. Well, why are you doing that? Why are you hijacking it with medical? And what's I don't get it. The only thing that I understand is there are some nurses who crochet at night while they're on shift. And so, I mean, the thing for me, I know when the rest of us, though, who are lower paying jobs, we always had to do busy work. And I know I felt that way. When I did retail, I kind of felt that way, that I had to do busy work, even though there was times I pushed the limits actually with retail, because with retail, I was one of the few people who actually would show up to work, and I actually put effort into my department. And I was also the one who was kind of penalized a little bit, because I would do my department and I'd have everything done. I was ready to go home. And then I was penalized, and then the supervisor would tell me that I had to go up to the middle section to help the other girls. And she said that they were more busy, but they were just being lazy. They were always talking on the phone. I saw them talking on the phone. And that's all they did was talked on the phone, and they wouldn't clean up their department. So I started feeling like I had to leave my department a little bit messy. So come closing time, I would have work to do and not go up and help the Missy Junior section, which had all the college girls and everyone else traipsing through, and the phone calls that they were getting. And I was by myself. I didn't have two people. They had two people working. They had enough time that they could clean everything up, but then I got penalized. And I asked the woman too one time, I said, well, how about I go up and I leave my department and I'll go up and I'll do some of the stuff to help them during business hours or during working hours. And she said, no, we need you in your department. You're the only person here. And I said, yeah, but I have things. I'd like to go home and go to sleep. I have to get up and go to school in the morning, and I have to get my son ready for school. I'd like to see my son. And she's like, well, no. So what she was doing was riding the clock. She was riding the clock off of J.C. Penney's. And so when I say riding the clock, that means that you create extra work for yourself after the store closes. So there was times that we could be in the store for, my goodness, at least an hour or longer. And since we're hourly, we would get paid that extra money. She was the manager. And so, yeah, I get it. She was in the same position that the rest of us were. She didn't have any kids, but I did. And yes, we got paid by, but it still wasn't enough to keep up with inflation. I guess that's why J.C. Penney's has closed. A lot of retail stores are closing. But now at the same time, what we're being told is that Silicon Valley is not creating jobs for American citizens. Stuff like this goes outside of the United States. And then they don't want to pay people inside of the United States because what they say is we expect too much money. It's like, well, our country is inflated in price. And so moms have to be able to have money to live someplace. And I made this point the other day. I said, well, the thing that I said in my brain to myself is what I said is, well, my goodness, it's like, well, if there's not enough money to go around, and there's not enough jobs to go around, then that means that the corporations and the money people have to lower prices so that mom can afford to live by herself, right? So that means that men have to take a lower pay. Men in general have to take a lower pay. And then they need to start griping and bitching to the politicians that they can't afford to live. That systemically and society is causing them to be homeless. And I think that they need to do that. Complain to the politicians, complain to the current president, and the worldwide people need to do that too, because as the cost of living increases and these corporations have a sense of entitlement with their hand out, and now the other thing too, how many people can literally afford to live in a building in New York City on Fifth Avenue? The ones that built it, I don't think they can afford to live in that building. So the people building the building and the people working in the building can't literally afford to live in that building. Now, can they? No, they can't. Okay, so I'm going to add one more round on here since we're having that one's a mistake. Now see, and this one's a mistake too, because I didn't secure it at the base. Let's see what happens if I just pull it through. If I just pull it through like that, see, it exposes them, where when I add that extra layer and secure them like that, and then pull it out, then it just creates another secure layer. I could actually, if I wanted to, let's see, we could do 2 and pull it up like that. That would be another look. I actually like this one better, though. Just one seems to be sufficient at the base. One seems to be sufficient to secure them at the base. And so, yeah, you know, so there are things I will talk about, and you know, and ask questions that are hard and tough questions that nobody else wants to ask. You know, I mean, a lot of times I feel like as a society we become complacent and comfortable. And, you know, even when I was younger, though, um, that's not something I thought about. Not once did I ever think about that I have to have money to survive when I turn 18. My parents just did not want to talk about money at all. So I did not think about anything about money or my future. Didn't know what my future was supposed to be. The little inkling of what my future was supposed to be was getting married. That was the little tiny inkling of what my future was supposed to be, was getting married. Because that's what was being pushed, was marriage in my generation, unfortunately. I can't imagine that I don't know how our society progressed, actually. You know, with a lot of the things that is said and that we have going on right now. Um, I really don't know how our society progressed. I don't know how humankind actually survived. You know, with as much influencing that we have on the legacy media stations and things like that, where these people are telling us that we need to have all these products and things like that. I have no idea how we even survived as human beings for anything at all, because they're always telling us, don't do this and don't do that, don't do it this way and don't do it that way. And you need to, well, how in the world did our society, how did humanity survive? Now, I know I agree with a lot of the males who reference that the Bible does talk about dictatorships. And it does. It absolutely does. It talks about dictatorships. And so, but I have to wonder, though, if because the Bible, I actually believe, has been rewritten. I don't believe the original words of the Bible. They're just written by a man. I don't believe the original words of the Bible are the original words of the Bible at all. I just believe that the Bible is something that is passing along the dangers of capitalism, and it's been going on for thousands of years, tens of thousands of years in the lifespan of humanity. And I think that the Bible does it in such a way to try to reach people who reject the notion, you know. So there is an element of people who they always say that they don't want the government involved in what they're doing, and that has stereotypically been church people. That's been migrant people who migrate from other places. It's my understanding the Native Indians did that. You know, they didn't want the government involved with things because they're always saying the government messes things up. It's like, well, okay, you're right. Let's look at it this way. So when you're someone like Donald Trump, the government does mess things up for him because he's being greedy, don't you think? I mean, otherwise, how does everyone else survive? You know, I mean, now they've taken the natural earth rare resources and they have placed a price on that. Now, and the same thing with gold. Now, look, now you're just being greedy. So when you mine and harvest gold and diamonds, you're doing it just for the purposes of making money for yourself, of creating a monopoly. That's what you're doing. So you have harvested all these rare earth natural resources. You've been greedy. Same with diamonds. And I know they made some movie back in the day about a movie called Blood Diamonds, was it? Something like that. And you just became greedy. That's all that happened. You just became greedy. You became a monopoly. You made yourself a monopoly. And for what purpose? So you could make money and exclude everybody else. Now that's the ultimate goal of exclusion, I guess. Now I've made this point about women and equality. And I've said with inflation, there's absolutely no equality for women. And it also takes away the ability for men to survive too with inflation. When prices keep rising up higher, it takes away the ability for anybody to survive. Oh, this one. Oh, we've got a little tug going on here. Okay, thankfully we're about down here, and we're going to be able to get this last round here. Some of these are a little bit shorter, it seems. Let's grab a hold of you because you're trying to slip through here. Okay, so let's do a single crochet. Okay, we need to make a little single crochet here with the knot stitch. The knot stitch. Okay, now we are going to work one single crochet around in each one of these. I'm just going to work them around individually this time because the last time I showed how to do the loops, and I'm just going to do all of these individually like this, and just like that. Alrighty here. I like that. Oh my goodness. This one is kind of fun. Now I probably will pull it back out when I'm done. I do need to set it down and unravel some yarn from the end of my skein here. Yarn is very expensive, so we're doing patterns right now, pattern stitches, and not finishing the projects. And I mean, so we can still learn things, you know, even though things are very expensive right now. Yarn, oh my goodness! In some places, they said some of those packages, those kits and things like that are like $30. People are trying to profiteer off of the crafting community, and that's one thing I always said is that the fiber arts, you know, which this spans into clothing, manufacturing, retail too, they are purposely raising the prices on clothing. And so I don't know, you know, and to me, it just comes back down to those inside of the United States in the private corporations who are doing it, but they blame other countries for doing it. So let that digest. So it's the ones who, you know, that you see on Shark Tank. I've seen them mark the prices up on a lot of things. You know, they're like, oh my gosh, if we can't mark it up by $1,000, we just really don't want to do business. They have to have a big profit margin where they can get the money right away at the beginning. You know, it's before anyone figures out, hey, this is a bad investment. And that's how they're making money, off of bad investments. So when I watch that show Shark Tank, everything I see on there is a bad investment for, well, it's not for the 4 people that are sitting there. It's not for the few that are at the top who actually have ties to Wall Street and ties to the legacy media. And, you know, they utilize what the government has with loopholes and Wall Street has. And so they want to favor things for their own self. They don't want to include anybody else related to, you know, being able to make millions and millions of dollars. They just don't want to do that. And so that's where I am with that, you know, that they are being greedy. And unfortunately, I've yet to figure out our politicians yet how well, some people have said that some of the politicians actually are former entertainers their own self. And if that's true, we have a big problem with that because of the fact that they're actually working for the celebrities. They're working for a company. They're not actually working for the American people then. They're working for Wall Street. They're not working for the American public. Now, I don't believe that all of our politicians are actually former celebrities. If a celebrity gets in there like Arnold Schwarzenegger or someone, or what's the other one, the wrestler guy? I can't remember his name, that was up in Minnesota. They usually they're in there and they don't do a whole lot. They're just there. And I guess they figure out that they don't have control over the money and the population as much as what they think they did. That people aren't going to listen to them as much as what they think that people are going to listen to them. So the whole thing for putting a celebrity or a money person into politics is that they want to figure out when they go in there how they can make money for their corporation. And that's what's going on right now, guys. That is absolutely what's going on right now. With the president we have in there, he is firing every government employee. He's closing down departments because he wants that money. He wants to get it, and he wants to move the money out of government into the private sector. And he said that the other day when he said that he's suing himself now. He's suing himself as the president because for some lawsuit against him. And he said he wants to take the $240 million that he's suing the government for. So he's just decided that he's already won $240 million before the lawsuit's even taken place. So he wants to move that $240 million out and then donate it to charity. Well, now let me ask you this. Now, if he says he's going to donate it to charity, is there checks and balances on donating it to your own charitable contribution? So if he has his own charity company, how many charity companies does he have? He could be donating it to himself. And so he has $240 million that is transactional money to open a brothel. For crying out loud. He could just be opening a brothel and then counting all these different women and saying, oh, well, they're just transactional. So he's legalized prostitution is what he's done. I mean, that's all he's done is legalized prostitution. I know that's an adult topic, so I'm not going to stick on it too long. Well, I think that I'm done. I mean, I like this. This is, if I had more yarn and I was in a place to be able to do more of this, I would sure be making a full hat out of this. Because it's a combination of Tunisian and it's a combination of broomstick lace. We've got both of them in here and we've managed to do it in the round here. Do you see that? Let's go back here. Yeah, this round right here. This is the 4, right here. Looks identical to broomstick lace. That's what we've got right here, broomstick lace. And so I think that I will, how long have I been at this? 49 minutes. So I think I'm done. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you'll hit the thumbs up and subscribe and leave suggestions in the comment section of my, you can leave that in the shorts, in the long video, wherever, leave a comment for more things that you'd like to see and suggestions for future tutorials that we can make. I mean, I can just make round. Well, a lot of stuff I make is round, actually, in the round. So You know what? Maybe I'll think of a snowflake. Maybe one of the next tutorials I'll make is a small orange snowflake of some sort out of this yarn and make some kind of a snowflake. You know, since people like making. I loved making crochet snowflakes. That's why I say it. That's something I loved. I don't know if everybody loves it or not. I know that's something I love to do. And that was to make crochet snowflakes for holiday trees. And then I would just sometimes give them away to people who asked when I had them. I'm not in a place to be able to do that anymore. But, when I could, it was something I did. It wasn't a whole lot, but it was just something I did that I thought was fun because I didn't know what to do with everything that I made. So I gave it away to people who asked. I didn't ask for any money or anything like that, and I'm not asking for money. I'm not I'm not asking for money on any of my channels because I never agreed with that because I liked the idea of getting a pay that was sustainable when AdSense was something that people liked instead of this direction of what people do of asking for donations. That leads way outside of YouTube. That leads into the arena of money laundering and fraud, waste, abuse. Fraud more than anything. I've seen a lot of fraud things on YouTube. And so, especially in the arts area, there's a lot of it because it's like, realistically, you can't. So when I get this hat, if I was to turn this into a hat, it can take me, well, what have I been working on it for close to an hour. So it could take me another hour to finish it, so right here like this, it doesn't look very good, but it took me some time. So I'm going to want to sell it for maybe $50 or $100. I mean, just because it took me 2 hours doesn't mean I want to sell the hat for $5. So you can sell it in a department store and then mark the price up. And that's what they've been doing. They mark the price up. So people who make granny squares. Oh, granny square. Yes, we can achieve that with this stitch too. We can make a square out of this. And we're going to do that. Absolutely, we can make a square out of this. So a granny square sweater, and I've seen them. So someone made granny square sweaters, and they ended up into a high-end department store, and then they put a great big price on them of like maybe $200. Well, but the people who made this stuff don't get any money at all. It's like, why are you treating us like we live in a third world country? Those of us who are here in the United States, you're treating us like, well, apparently the United States is a third world country. I mean, and what is a job? I mean, and I saw this recently on Archie Bunker too. And, Edith, she was a stay-at-home mom, and Archie says, that's not working. That's not a job. Archie is a jerk. If you ask me, Archie's a jerk. But anyway, I'm done.